Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. A second greeting at the start of this video. Now we're going to dive into pretty much the latest and updated news from the developers over at New World. They've been posting over on the official forums, responding to questions, comments, concerns. And honestly, at the end of the day, I thought this was really good information to get out to you. Now, you can see here, I can actually filter this by the topic section itself, but it isn't as conclusive. So you can see here, 7 minutes ago, I got an update from, obviously on the New World server transfer. And so we'll start there. I want to kind of step through the post, kind of tell you what they've been saying. So that way, hopefully you have all the information about, Outpost Rush, about the war lag, about this bug or that exploit, etc. And then that way we can all be on the same page. Hopefully you find this video useful. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, one of the things I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to scroll up to the start where we can see what kicks off the thread, and then I'll jump to any dev responses that they've made. You can always go check these out for yourself over on the official forums. So this is Furwolf saying it's just that any news on the server transfer. And devs pop in. Lux says, hey there, server transfers will remain one of the team's top priorities, and they are currently working on resolving a persistent issue that caused the feature to be turned off. We're hoping to release it as soon as possible. We'll post in the official news section once we have more information to share. And you can see here they also followed it back up again here with, I know these have been questions and they've been asked by the community, but unfortunately, I just don't know at this time. You may already know that you need to wait 120 days before changing factions, but I haven't heard of any plans to have factions change when you change servers. Our team will continue monitoring world populations, queue times, and will evaluate the need for adding additional waves of server transfer tokens to be given out for free, but I haven't heard anything about paid transfers at the moment. So, and they apologize. All right, let's jump into communication improvement. Let's go ahead and scroll to the top, see what the thread is all about, and then we'll dive into their responses. Elemental says, I'd like to see more communication from AGS and transparency. As a big company or backed by one, it seems that they're afraid to say something wrong. Moderators and the community only reply in topics that have a predefined answer and don't comment on suggestions, critiques, concerns. It's a shame we get multiple hours of maintenances and extensions without any ETA, and 1 hour after and still no news. I know the bugs and problems are not ignored, but while the community has constant output or feedback, they aren't capable of acknowledging that. People get banned for mass reporting, haven't even seen anyone acknowledging that. Main story bugs out and no one talks about it. 2 weeks into a release after alphas betas, and no news on future plans for the game other than next year's to have the paid shop becoming more relevant to then what we're having with seasonal events. Promises of server transfers last week, and we're still working on it. I'm not asking for a final answer to all the problems. At least give us, the community, some feedback to let us know what's going on with the dev team and what they're working on. That way, and what are the priorities. I really enjoy the game, but would appreciate more communicative development team. Edit. I know that the US West is online and EU isn't people creating topics saying that the US is preferred over the EU is just proof that if you said something other than server down or no ETA, it would be better for the community. You would have said we're having X problems with the US West and XY with problems with the EU. And once the problems with X is removed, you could say problem X is resolved. US is back online, still working on problem Y. So jumping into our dev responses, Muggsy says, "Hey folks, I appreciate the feedback, and I asked for more and they asked for more transparency. We take this feedback to heart, and historically, it has been something that we've been very good at. Our goal is to improve our communication at scale. This means finding ways to reach more people rather than only comments and threads that get lost very quickly. Since the launch, our team has been working extremely hard to tackle as many critical issues that emerge as possible. You could see that we are working around the clock on patches and hotfixes, server resets, downtimes, and maintenances across all the various servers and regions, etc. This isn't to say your feedback isn't correct. I agree that we can improve communication, but this is to explain that because the kitchen is so busy, the dining hall is feeling unattended. I hear that we are working to get meaningful communication in place. We want to dig into more dev blogs, more articles touching on hot topics, and more ways for you to talk to the devs to get answers to the things that are most important to you. I do appreciate that everyone is passionate about New World, extremely supportive, and I want to help shape the game as we move forward. Then continuing on, it says, we are experiencing issues with Outpost Rush and working to get them resolved. Any issue that exists as a group of people working to get it addressed. We want to successfully resolve an issue with our first deployment, but we have encountered issues that require us to work on it and get further insight and get it right. I understand that it's frustrating to see. We have different teams working on different problems. You can read about the character transfer solution here, and that's something we just talked about. And then going on, when character transfers started out, we caught the persistence issue, and it wasn't captured when QAing the feature, so it must have been addressed before continuing with transfers. It's a very specific answer to a very specific problem, and I'm not sure I understand why you feel that this is generic. The game development is a very fluid at specific times. Sometimes you are making great strides, and the last minute an issue prevents progress. Generally, that when you share the information, it is seen as an irreversible promise, and we'll share updates when it is appropriate. And then we hear your request. We will work to improve our communications. We appreciate the words of support. We do have a lot of issues we're working on, and there are countless specific things to provide updates on. I completely agree that we need to elevate our communications and give deeper updates to the top issues the community wants to know about, and I'm sincerely working on it. I don't have any updates on the ability to help you troubleshoot. Sorry, CS is your best path. And then 100% spot on. We have known issues, and threads like this do not like it. Quoting themselves, it looks like, greetings adventurers, as we go live, we're going to be issues that pop up and while we're actively developing and breaking things within New World. These are some of the known issues that we're currently aware of and actively working on resolving. Looking for some of our release notes you can check out here. Having any workarounds for a known issue, it'll be posted there. Unrecoverable error, product information not found, maybe encountering on game start, loot bag preview, server takes seconds to appear. I don't think this is helpful enough. It is kept in current enough, and it doesn't show the status of progress. I'm on a crusade to get the good tracker in place, and this will get more communication to the bugs and the section of reporting coming to be captured or already known issues. I think that's critical. They've been tracking these. We've talked about this on the channel for a while now, but at the end of the day, like, how do you know specifically that they're working on the thing that you need to know? Anyway, follows it up. Yes, the team's working hard on our top critical issues, and as we get those fully resolved, we will be able to work through many other bugs. And then continuing, like I said, guys, lots of updates. We are currently reviewing the minimap mod, and I believe Overrule probably jumped the gun on communicating an outcome publicly. It is still likely that they've realized that it was premature to announce the outcome and removed it. Roadmaps are tricky for sure. Game development is a fluid environment of changing plans and goals and can be seen as promises. Some folks react very strongly to change, and even if you can't, you can tell them to expect it. This is very true. Especially that's why I've seen a lot of people calling for a roadmap, and I think at some point there needs to be like a vision, like that's like this is where the direction we want to go. But even that can be dangerous. And right now, Amazon's first job outside of fixing like the bugs is to build trust. One of the ways they build trust is delivering on bugs and those promises. But yeah, anyway, all right, we talked about roadmaps, and so then finally, the decision has not been made yet. I believe the teams are discussing exactly what data uses and any future plans for it. So that's a long thread, hopefully on the communication improvement that gets you guys caught up. Let's jump into Outpost Rush. If you guys haven't known, they've tried to turn that on. Well, it was on, had to turn it off. They tried to turn it back on. More people hitting 60 wanting to play this content, had to turn it off. So they've continuing the discussion from notice temporary disabling Outpost Rush. Quick note, if you aren't a PvPer and you aren't 60, this complaint obviously does not pertain to you. However, there are many of us that are both PvPers and level 60. I would appreciate it if you didn't marginalize our concerns just because you aren't affected personally. That's a really nice sentiment. I totally understand that. That said, Outpost Rush has been disabled for 10 days straight, and it's only constant PvP for those of us who want to do endgame PvP. The rewards are for flagging at 60 are non-existent. 10% XP gain does not apply to them. And I am one of the players that played New World with the promise of an existing endgame PvP experience that has been teased by the developers for the past 3 years. Even with the switch to PvE friendly game when flagging, we were told that they were an important part of the community and the key to the endgame. The fact that Outpost Rush has been disabled for 10 days through a full patch cycle with no other news than no news yet sorry and over simple bug makes us feel that we've been cast aside in favor of other players. This is especially disconcerting as the game was delayed for months to polish the endgame content. I enjoy PvE content and I want PvE community to be happy, but please don't drop PvP players to the wayside and forget us entirely. Our only constant experience at level 60 is just not enabled, but the game is at the moment, and I feel like we are being neglected. My concern beyond waiting to play and not being able to at the moment is that PvP players will dwindle over time and suddenly the PvP side of the game will lose any share of the player base that it's come essentially to forgot. Every time a PvP player quits because we are marginalized over other focuses brings that closer to reality. There's no reason we can't get a bug fix for Outpost Rush quickly or prioritize it. So like from a priority perspective, like it's kind of hard to ask for that because the issue could be like multi-layered, right? But let's go ahead and see what the devs say. Hey all, I completely understand your frustration and disappointment regarding disabling this mode. Outpost Rush is super fun, and now that more people are reaching level 60, it's definitely easier to join on one of the matches. Unfortunately, there are a lot of issues where we've discovered after we re-enabled it, it severely impacted people's ability to have a smooth experience during and after playing Outpost Rush, and the team decided that the best approach was to disable it for the time being while they worked out the bugs. We were really excited for this to be released last weekend, and we're disappointed that we had to disable it. The team's working super hard to knock these bugs out and re-enable Outpost Rush as soon as possible, and it remains one of the team's top priorities to fix. So I know the team is working really hard to make sure this a reality, but game development is fluid, and sometimes something they think will fix it may not work properly like we saw last week. And so that's the update right now going on with Outpost Rush. No current, ETA, but they are saying that it is a top priority. Let's talk about invasion kicking. Let's see here. Let's go to the top, the root of the post. Can we get an official statement regarding kicking random people from invasion to fill roster with company faction members? Is this considered an exploit? I believe it should be. And then so we're jumping in. And the official statement is, hello, the official stance of the team is while we don't encourage this behavior, it is also not considered an exploit or a cheat. We do understand the situation and the team is working on ways to potentially address this. So what this means is probably when people hear this, see this video or do whatever, probably going to do it even more because now they're not going to be worried that they're making an exploit. I don't think they really cared in the first place, but that's how it is. But it does look like New World devs are aware of it and they're currently talking it over to figure out what makes the most sense for invasion kicking. All right, we talked about Outpost Rush. We talked about server transfer. Thoughts on updates and bug fixes more often. Let's go to the root. And this says, I must say that it's truly enjoying the game overall, and I have little to no complaints. And I'm level 41, and I've only experienced a few bugs here and there, but nothing that keeps me from playing and progressing. I understand that doing bug fixes every week is a good thing for keeping the servers up, but I think game-breaking bugs should be fixed ASAP. For example, the bug that keeps the factions from starting a war last week. That was kind of annoying, and it couldn't stop hearing people complain about it in chat. I'm glad to see the bug fixes are coming out consistently, but bigger bug fixes should be addressed right away instead of letting it go for another 7 days. Just my thoughts. Outside of that, I'm having a blast, and I can't wait to see what else is in the pipeline. All right, devs follow up with, we've certainly hear that we want and totally understand how annoying bugs, both big and small, can be. Fortunately, not all bugs are created equal, and some require server downtime to address, while chasing the fix and fixing the bugs is certainly one of the top priorities. We can consistently be restarting servers and deploying patches, and as such, we try to only have 1 to 2 downtimes a week rather than updates with new fixes every day. I know it's a hard way, but we are certainly hustling to make sure the game a better experience, so hang tight and stay tuned. Now, I think, and I would expect, they've been kind of doing this once a week, so we might be getting more updates as of tomorrow, or actually the next day, some patch notes, etc. So keep it locked here to the channel if you like New World content. That's all I can say. All right, so they don't listen to people. They have their own agenda is the critique. And Travers follows it up and says, I think this is disingenuous, but also understandable. It's hard to see what changes get made, where and when, based off something in the community is written on. A great example would be the change from 3 a.m. Pacific time updates to 10 p.m. Pacific time updates. The link the downtime mixed with choice of timing has caused EU players to miss out on almost all their peak gaming hours. So we pulled the update window back to an early time to address that feedback. The game has changed dramatically, not from when it was first announced, but also between now and the preview, and we've held over a year ago. A lot of changes come from tester feedback, and the community team is actively working to rework the feedback loop between community and the devs, and we'll see a lot of that work coming through in the very near future. And that is the final update on that thread. Continuing on down the list. This should be a good one. We paid €40 for an alpha. All right, let's look at the root cause. General and constant lag, clunky combat, not being able to sell anything on the market, gold items disappearing into the market, etc., etc., etc. It looks like a kind of a thesis of just kind of bullet points, kind of listing off their various different critiques of the bugs, saying AGS is bigger than Bethesda or better than Bethesda, or like, I like the equation here, like worse than Bethesda. In this case, anyway, I'm not finding a lot of value in their feedback, but that's just my feedback on their feedback. Let's jump in. Hey, everyone, we hear you. Every annoying bug exploit, disabled content like Outpost Rush and delay adds frustration, and yeah, it sucks. Right now, the team is prioritizing critical bugs and those affected by Outpost Rush and the server transfers and wars to ensure that once they're released, everyone will have an optimal experience. Game design and development is fluid, and sometimes the fixes they put in will only resolve an issue for some people, not for others. I'm about to yawn. It's late. Apologies. All right. That doesn't mean that they stop looking for a fix once they think of resolving it, though. The bug and exploit reports are super important to make sure that we're not missing anything. We're all in this team, and we want New World to be amazing. And once we have addressed the outstanding critical issues, we can begin to work towards that as a laundry list of new features, content. Launch is only the beginning for New World, and we're excited to see where it goes. Canned answer there, but it is an answer nonetheless. All right, so we talked about the Euros. 3 weeks later, New World's player count is barely half its peak. I hope AGS stops making mistakes and the player count doesn't drop anymore. I can't share Forbes' article on this topic because AGS monitors are deleting it immediately. First and foremost, we've all known that this is going to be the standard dip within the player base. Like, naturally, you have the high of hype, and then right now it seems to be holding out pretty consistently over on Steam. Now that's the question: will it maintain itself for the next several months? But at the end of the day, like, I'm not literally worried at all about the player numbers. All right. Hey, all, we understand the frustration players are experiencing, especially when it comes to the exploits, bugs, disabled content, not being able to transfer, The team is prioritizing, blah, blah, blah. We're fixing that stuff. And we're also reading through the forums daily, and we appreciate the feedback coming through. Launch is just the beginning, blah, blah, blah. The canned answer response. Again, yeah, I think I'm, at the end of the day, I'm not worried about at all on that. Is New World dying? I think this is a great topic right here. Write down here why you think New World is slowly dying. For me, it's the most important thing that we can play with our friends. For now, for after 4 weeks, there is still no server for transfer. Okay. All right. Hopefully we are not, but we're understanding the frustration players are experiencing, especially when it comes to exploits, bugs, disabled content, blah, blah, blah. Team is prioritizing, yeah, and actively monitoring, yeah. Launch is just the beginning. Canned response. Like, that's, what are they gonna? Yeah, I can say, yeah, you know, we're down to 450,000 a day. Like, oh no. All right, this will be a good one. We have a couple here. Been level 60 for 3 days. Where's the content? Let's take a look at the route. I reached level 60 the other day, thinking, oh man, now I can finally play the game. You know what I did? Stood in the same spot, killing the same 2 mobs, yet for 3 days. No PvP because people are crybabies and no flag. No wars because you have to be one of the company's butt buddies. By the way, nobody likes companies that own territories. They get clowned on every other day. So no dangers because they need keys. It looks like I lost my button to easily jump to the response from the dev. So I don't know why the forums are messing up in that regard. So let's jump down and let's dive in. Hey everyone, thanks for the feedback. I hear you level 60 is a huge achievement. I completely understand that unlocking endgame content like Outpost Rush and War should be huge highlights. And I, like you, am disappointed that both Outpost Rush and currently disabled War issues have key issues that the team is working to address right now. And this is working to address the critical bugs. And once we've addressed the outstanding critical bugs, we'll be able to look forward to turning those back on. The real critical issue is that you need that XP having no value at level 60 is a key issue here. Like, one of the things that you see a lot of people, I've been saying it, and I know we're late into this video already. Endgame begins at level 1. To the person who's like, I got to level 60, now where's the game? That's because you've been trained in MMOs. I would say wrong. I would literally say wrong, because that's the theme park model of, oh, the real game ends after like all that. I don't like that model. I like end games that start at level 1, and that's what New World is for me. And so I'm having a really good experience, slowly leveling up, having a great time throughout the story, throughout the world, crafting and gathering. It's been a blast for me. That's kind of a key aspect. So I don't have a lot of sympathy to those who rushed and are bored. Clearly they didn't either watch my video or the volume of people who are playing this game who are subscribed here. Clearly, like, I'm not sitting here worried that they should. We talked about the level 30, level 60, the dying, below level 15 should not be able to type in all channels. This is gold sellers. I've been reporting them. Y'all probably be reporting them. Essentially, just as a summary, because I read this right because I was very curious. They're currently monitoring the situation, trying to figure out, like, obviously what they need to do. I'm curious to see if we actually get some kind of AI kind of put in place to kind of capture it. But in this meantime, gold selling is obviously very frustrating. It ruins the economies, it hurts the game, it hurts gatherers, it hurts like a core aspect. So hopefully they'll be able to get that knocked out. We got 2 more, and then we'll call it a night. There'll be more topics like White Knight video game makes it a great foundation, blah, blah, blah. If you guys want me to dive and do more dev dives, please let me know in the comments, and that way I can keep these up if you all are enjoying them. All right, let's look at the roots. All right, please, for the love of God, nerf Great X in PvP. How Great X made it through all the betas and now, etc. And then he goes on and on and on and on. So recall for a Great X nerf. As with all live games, weapons are not set in stone. They'll be tuning and balancing impasses made of the game as it evolves. These things don't happen overnight, but they are on the minds of the devs. Definitely keep an eye out coming patches and updates as we detail balance changes and more to come. Pretty standard, and I'm not so shocked there. All right, I am curious about the White Knighting, but let's go ahead and focus in on, where did I see AGS? Did AGS shut down? All right, let's dive into the root. Is everything okay at AGS? It feels like it's been a ghost town of communication from them for a while, especially given the amount of issues the game has, transfers, bugs, perks, roadmap, blah, blah, blah. And then let's see what they say. All right, I totally understand. Looking for the New World team responses in threads is not how most folks expect to find updates. While we've been active in the forums, we aren't doing a good job of providing media updates and dev blogs and news sections, and we're working to improve that area. So thank you for the feedback. You can see similar threads of what we pretty much covered on this in this epic video. Lots of little posts, like obviously when we start getting into the White Knighting and stuff like that, that's more discussion, and maybe that'll be for another video. So you guys let me know if you want to see that. Anyway, hopefully you got something good out of this video. Hopefully you're having a good evening. Sorry for the yawn earlier. It is late. I know I saw all these different posts. I saw the devs are just firing off. And so just right now, another one just came in. Yeah, they're going to give us an ETA as soon as possible. Hopefully we'll learn more about it this week. I'll be sure to keep you locked into the New World news, and hopefully you, if you enjoyed this video, hit like. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Thank you if you have, and if you haven't, let me know if you do. That way I can officially welcome you to this whole nation. Guys, for Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being awesome. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
I just want to say I'm really glad you're feeling better, and I love the videos. Well, I love you too. Michelle? Shoot for the moon, and so even if you fail, you'll reach the stars. Go for the 100K subscribers. Yeah.